I love new stuff. I love when people put effort into making stuff like this that feels more accessible. The Blue Ridge is an interesting project. It has been something that I saw early iterations at the Novel Keys meetup. Met the person who designed this. A little higher on the price point, but I think you guys are really gonna like it. It is a EC/MX hybrid, meaning with the same PCB, you can do both, either EC or MX. The price point, I believe right now, the target price point for the standard kits are around $485. So it's not, okay, I should say this, it's not crazy expensive, but for what it is, I think it's a really, really good price for the project. Because I spoke to the PCB designer. It was really cool. I got to speak to both the PCB designer and the board designer, and I don't think, to my knowledge, and even to the PCB designer's knowledge, there's not a hybrid PCB like the one in this board here. I want to show you guys the EC one first. So let's take out the EC one. So I'm not going to build EC tonight. Reason being is because I don't have the most experience building EC. And I don't want to show you guys... Oh, is it 450 for standard, 45 for two-tone? My mistake. My memory did not serve me there. Clever. Clever Keeves, if you guys have any questions, Clever is actually the designer. So this is the pre-built EC one that Clever put together. We're going to be building one of the MX ones, and I'll show you guys how it is. You guys can read about it on the Geek Hack if you want to read all the little bits and pieces. But it is, first of all, a hybrid. Second of all, I don't know if you guys can see from the top view, it has a crazy external kind of palm rest, which also lowers the front height, making this extremely comfortable. Really cool. It has some really just amazing attention to detail. Like even the feet. Like look at this. Look how beautiful. We'll talk about the visuals first. We'll go with internals last. The feet are even designed. Look at this. It's gorgeous. It is a gorgeous board. It has some really cool polycarb colors. I gotta say this, Clever getting to speak to him and even speaking to Sip the other day a little bit too. This is one of those projects, like I said, I've been excited to build this for a little while and just take a look at this because there's a lot of passion that went into this. Has a little bit of weight to it, which is great. Here's the side profile if you guys wanna see. Amazing, bit of a curve back, kind of a play on a box on wedge, a little bit of a lip taper here on the back that kind of flares upwards. It is really cool. Again, one of my favorite features, I saw this in the little pieces that I was looking at in the box. I love the feet. The feet are really cool. The weight design is awesome. It is such a cool weight design. This is the EC one, so it's gonna sound like an EC board, which again, I think it's some people are so into like the Topper stuff. You know, this is definitely a love note to Topper, I think, as he put it in his Geek Hack over here. But to kind of just read some of this Geek Hack, if you guys want to hear some of the description from them, is the project started off as a love letter to the Topper EC community. I wanted to create something new that wasn't a conversion or aftermarket case for the existing board. I also felt there was a gap in new designs that featured slightly scratchy, classic Topper feel. Most custom EC boards today feature a metal plate with snap-in aftermarket housings, and while those are equally amazing to type on, I wanted to reprise the feel and sound of HHK Pro boards with a twist, of course. The Blue Ridge is equipped with O-ring mounted CNC'd palm plates, which... let me pull that out. But check this plate out. If you guys are into Topper or just EC stuff at all, it is a fully equipped plate over here, which is super fucking cool. I think the biggest selling point for this though is this PCB. And this is a prototype. All this stuff is prototypes, by the way. It's a hybrid, like literally a hybrid PCB. How cool is that? Yeah, the plate is milled from palm. A fully equipped PCB that you can just on a dime be like, you know what? I don't want to do MX anymore. Boom, switch it into Topper EC by just switching it over. How cool is that? Again, to my knowledge, I don't think a full board has a fully equipped PCB like this. So this is, I think, a first. This is why I was so excited to do this, by the way. I love new stuff. I love when people put effort into making stuff like this that feels more accessible. Because then you don't have to buy two different PCBs. You don't have to buy like this conversion kit like was mentioned in that as well. Like there's no need to buy all this extras. You really just need your two different plates and you get your switches and all that other jazz, and you need one PCB technically, which is hot swap too, which is great. In terms of compatibility, listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys. I'm gonna let it slide. I'm gonna let it slide for this dude. Already compatibility with two different types of you know, switches, if you want to call it that. It doesn't need the compatibility here. I don't think we need to criticize it not having, like, I don't know, a split this and that. I don't think it's necessary. I think this works as is. I don't think you can really even fit much else on this. It's a EC/MX build. So you know what? I think this already has tons. That's already the perfect layout for which is HHKB. Yeah, I mean, true. This is going to be really cool. I think this is going to be really a really fun project for a lot of people interested in this. Again, let's take a look at some of the detailing on the board itself. Little mountain range over here to kind of fill in the gap. Doesn't have one on this over here. I love this. This is this little palm rest. Here we go. Here's a good angle. See that? It is so good, dude. Let's take a look at some other stuff. It's O-ring mounted too, by the way, which is crazy. It's a very interesting O-ring mount. We're gonna be fiddling with it a little bit today. I've already kind of taken a look at it. There's some stuff that you guys will see. By the way, here is the MX plate. This is the prototype MX plate. So how the O-ring works is it kind of, maybe a little tough to see on this particular plate. The O-ring kind of also slots in over here around this particular switch, which we'll get in. I'll show you guys how we're going to do that today. Yeah, it's a thicker plate. This is not a thin plate. I believe the change will be deeper inset grooves, which I think is already in the works to be changed because it is a little finicky to get the O-ring in, which you guys will see today. I'm just to let you guys know, I'm going to be criticizing this as much as I humanly possibly can to my knowledge of what's going on here because I love this. I think Clever did an amazing job. Sip made a really cool PCB, and I want this to be like the best project possible for these guys. If I see something that I feel like needs to be criticized, I'm not going to hold back, but I think this is already a sweet project, dude. That's a nice orange. Oh my God, that is beautiful. Damn. That is a really nice orange. See, do I like the PVD one more, or do I like this bottom more? I low-key like the PVD, and normally I'm not into the PVD stuff. Yeah, I think the shininess actually works here. 450 versus 485. Honestly, not a big, huge difference just for some PVD. It's actually hand polished stainless. Oh, it's not even PVD, it's hand polished. Oh, very, very nice. Oh, the way the light goes through the orange is crazy. And this is just like a solid chunk of polycarb over here, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. There's a little quote on the inside. The mountains are calling and I must go. John Muir. Even the little cable channel is mountain themed. Okay, dude. We have an O-ring, so this is a standard O-ring for that. All the different color feet over here. Really interested in how this sounds with MX. I am as well. I mean, theoretically, it's using a pass-through weight, right? So it's using a weight that goes straight through. I like the topography here, by the way. This is a really cool design. So theoretically, we should actually get a pretty nice sound signature, considering this is O-ring mounted. All right, Clever. I gotta say, dude, these feet are so cute. Nice little detail. Also, okay, I didn't even know these existed, but Clever also sent us these switches to use with it today. And these are, I believe you said TTC, right? Venuses. Has it kind of a unique top housing? I've never used them before. Yeah, I did some research afterwards, and apparently a lot of people really like these, but I've just never heard of them before. So, first time using these too. Okay, so little thing here. So just so you guys know, this uses a bit of a thinner, this particular plate anyways, uses a thinner O-ring. As you guys can see, this is much thinner than the norm. I don't think I've seen a keyboard use this thickness. The way this is gonna install, and this is gonna be the test of my patience right now as well, and Clever's probably biting his nails, is it's gonna install like this. First, we're gonna actually put in the switches. So we're gonna do that here first. Now we're gonna have to finesse this prototype. Clever already told me that they're working on changing this because, I mean, I admitted to him like right away when we did this. I'm like, oh, this is a pain in the ass. I kind of found a good way to do it on my own time, which I didn't want to struggle on stream with you guys. But just to let you guys know, I did struggle a little bit. Clever watched me struggle. See, they kind of pop out. The change for this plate is going to be that they're going to be switching this. Clever's going to make this a deeper inset spot. So we're not going to have to worry about these popping out. But for now, it seems like this is the best way to handle popping in these O-rings here. It wasn't that bad. And then we're just going to kind of pop everything in here. And then we'll straighten out that O-ring and show you guys. O-ring last. Yeah. Already popped out a little bit, so we're gonna have to actually lift this up again and fix it. That's why it's a little bit tricky. Clever already has a workaround for this being made. Worked at home, but this plate came from a different menu. I haven't tested in person. Yeah, that's the other thing, by the way, too, guys. You know, not to excuse anything, but just to have some more information. This is a different plate from a different manufacturer that Clever shipped to me and told me that he's never tested this. So I am the only person testing this at the moment. What I would do, though, Clever, if I were you, I would maybe extend the opening up a little bit here for that particular area so this doesn't happen. So that would be my first real criticism for this particular plate, is just kind of open it up so the stabies are a really good example of what can go wrong with stabs, by the way. So maybe it does need to be opened up a little bit so it doesn't impact the front of any stabs. All right, so we're done in the switches because it's just hot swap. Now we're gonna pull this slowly to kind of fit it into place. And we're gonna put this around. And voila, we have our O-ring. Next small criticism to take your board to the next level, okay? I would personally, I know it's a part with low mileage, like you probably are not gonna replace this very often. I would still put threaded inserts. It is a more of a premium product. I would just get those in just for the sake of getting them in. So that is my next point. Again, I know it's a low mileage part, but. So we have the EC build on top. Now we're gonna install this, which should be a pretty straightforward install. And if I remember correctly too, Clever, you also said potentially this was moving as well a little bit. It was getting replaced, just to let people know. You know what I would also do, if possible? Maybe get a cable with heat shrink on it so it doesn't kind of wire out like this or fray out like that. Make it a little bit more cleaner at the bottom of the PCB because I think this is a bit messy with this. All right, how does this look from the side? The orange is so nice. Oh my God. What a good board. This is so cool. So I gotta plug it in. I wanna see the lights. Check this out. So, where was it again? Hybrid tools. And you switch right here between your EC and MX PCB. And there's different like actuation levels, release levels, stuff like that for this particular board. Like tons of interesting stuff. And then we can go back to MX. Really cool. So there's a lot of things I think people are going to be happy about with this particular PCB. But right now, I don't know, I'm just blown away by all the stuff you can do here. Lighting's really cool on this too. It's a neat looking keyboard. Do we leave the lighting on, guys? Do you guys like the lighting on? Or should I turn it off? There's orange lighting there. Very cool. Let's get some keycaps on this bad boy. Okay, what do we think? This is a project and I am so happy it has come together like this. This looks fantastic. How's it look from the side over here? That is a looker on the desk. That doesn't look real. Now we get to see what this sounds like. So I've never used these switches before. So maybe we'll switch a few out just to see. Also, this is the thick plate, by the way, which I believe, just to be clear, I think there's also the thin plate you can use, the more standard plate, with a regular ass O-ring. So spacebar, these are not lubed by me, by the way. These are stock lubed. So let's try a spacebar I've actually modded. So I do feel like the spacebar is bright. It does sound good though, and it feels great to type on. Let's actually take out this bad boy and let's try, I have a milky yellow that I have with a different film though. Let's try a milky yellow to start. I like this way more. I will say, so these switches, a little off topic from the keyboard, these switches in their stock form, because these are stock lubed, I can sort of hear the springs just ever so slightly. They're not, I wouldn't say these are the best stock lube I've ever heard in my entire life, but it sounds good. It sounds good in MX compatibility. And then here is the EC version. It's cool. From a comfort level, the little pockets where your hands can rest really give this illusion of the front height being like dropped down to the bottom. It is crazy how ergonomic this feels. Although, again, if you want a true ergo keyboard, this is not it. But this definitely really aids in not having to like put a pressure on your hands, if anything. I really like this little curve, this little dip over here. This what are you calling this, Clever? What's the official terminology here? Comfort curve. It's nice. Palm rest. We can call it a palm rest. Love bump. Leisure curve. There you go. I can imagine too, just using a regular plate with the regular O-ring, you're probably going to get less of this thuddier sound, which is, I'm guessing this is more to emulate what, EC could sound like. Although with an MX switch, very, very different, obviously. But if you were to go with a regular plate, you would get probably a brighter sound profile overall. Especially this is polycarbonate. Imagine going with just a standard alu plate. The sound profile is good. Keep it a buck. I think I would probably actually like the regular plate more. I don't know if I like thick plates in general. I think it might be a personal preference thing. Sounds hell of a good keyboard though, even with the thicker plate. But no, I think this is super exciting. You get a PCB that seemingly does everything. Fun layout for people interested in HHKB layout, that is. But goddamn, this is awesome. Regular and 4.5 will come in PP and alu. I wonder how a PP O-ring mounted keyboard would sound. Again, a really cool project. It starts at $450. If you want the polished stainless version over here, it's $485. There's an aluminum version right now they're doing for a charity run. So you can use the included hex things to pull this out. I think you should 100% do that. Oh, is it on the new plate? Oh, it is. My bad. Yeah. 100%. I think that's a smart idea. I think this is going to be finicky to get out, if I'm being real. I think people are going to feel like they're going to break their keyboard. I think you should implement this as well. On the thicker plate, on the thinner plate, I don't know if you have to do it just because those are kind of easy to wiggle out, but this one here really friction fit inside with that thinner O-ring for sure. Very cool. I like that idea. It's smart. Very smart. Yeah, I would 100% do that. I'm happy to see this is going to be an in-stock sale when the time comes. There's going to be a small batch of units. That way there you can kind of gauge how you're going to ship these out yourself and whatnot too. Gorgeous looking keyboard though. Absolutely stunning. A lot of things to love about this. A lot of things to take away. A lot of things to really just appreciate about this project and everything about this. See you everyone. Bye. Love you.